Divorce lawyers. What's the most outrageous reason someone filed for divorce? The most heart-wrenching divorce case we ever encountered, and ultimately didn't follow through with for reasons that will soon become clear, involved a woman in her 50s whose husband had truly let himself go. This man, tipping the scales at over 400 pounds, had just undergone his third triple bypass surgery. Despite these serious health scares, he stubbornly refused to alter his lifestyle. Instead, he spent his days glued to the couch, chain-smoking and drinking, utterly engrossed in the TV. His doctors delivered a dire prognosis, warning that he had just 6 months to live unless he made drastic changes. But he dismissed them as fools, telling them to go to hell. On the other hand, his wife was a picture of success and vitality. She was so driven that her hobby alone brought in over $10,000 a month, on top of a 6-figure salary from her main job. Watching her husband's decline, she lost all respect, desire, and love. For years, she could barely tolerate his presence. To make matters worse, there were signs of verbal abuse. He frequently accused her of infidelity, despite being the one cheating and squandering money on cocaine. These accusations grew even more intense after she lost about 200 pounds through sheer hard work and dedication. We were helping her with the divorce proceedings, and one of her stipulations was that he would keep her as the beneficiary on his life insurance policy. Understandably, she anticipated his cooperation on this matter. She believed he would comply if she guided him through the paperwork. However, one day we received an unexpected email from her instructing us to halt the divorce. The reason wasn't a reconciliation. Instead, he had flatly refused to keep her as the beneficiary on his life insurance if they divorced. Faced with this impasse, she decided to stay married to him, hoping to secure the benefits when he inevitably passed away in a few months. This wasn't our only experience with people using desperate measures in divorce cases. There was the husband who learned that his elderly wife, in her late 70s, was terminally ill. In a bid to retain his assets, he employed every delaying tactic possible to prolong the final hearing, hoping she would die before the divorce was finalized. Then there was the couple who had amicably agreed on everything: division of assets, custody arrangements, and dissolution terms. But out of nowhere, the husband developed a vendetta. He decided to scrap their agreement, aiming to take everything from her and wrest custody of their child. Why? Because she had refused his last-minute request to spend extra time with their kid, as she had already made plans. Reflecting on these cases, I often find myself pondering the lengths to which people will go when they feel wronged or see an opportunity to gain something. The stories we encounter in this line of work reveal the darker, more desperate sides of human nature. Let me paint a clearer picture of the woman who sparked this narrative. Her name was Susan, a vibrant and accomplished woman. She had started a small business in her spare time, turning her passion into a lucrative side hustle. It was remarkable, really. By day, she was a high-powered executive, but in the evenings and on weekends, she crafted intricate, custom-made jewelry that had a loyal following online. Her success in both arenas was a testament to her dedication and talent. On the flip side, there was her husband, Frank. Frank was a man who had given up. Once upon a time, he had been a promising young man with a bright future, but somewhere along the line, he lost his way. The pressures of life, perhaps compounded by his own choices, led him down a path of self-destruction. At his core, Frank was a man who had lost hope, and with it, the will to fight for a better life. Frank's health had been deteriorating for years. He had always been a heavy smoker and drinker, but after his first heart attack, his habits worsened. It was as if he had made a conscious decision to speed up his demise. Each day, he would slump in his favorite armchair, surrounded by empty beer cans and a haze of cigarette smoke, oblivious to the world around him. The TV blared constantly, a numbing backdrop to his existence. Susan's transformation, on the other hand, was nothing short of inspirational. She had decided to take control of her life, embarking on a weight loss journey that saw her shed 200 pounds through disciplined dieting and rigorous exercise. She became a beacon of health and vitality, a stark contrast to the man she was married to. Her newfound confidence and energy only highlighted the chasm that had grown between them. But the physical transformation was just the tip of the iceberg. Susan's weight loss was symbolic of a deeper, more profound change. She was reclaiming her life, breaking free from the chains of a toxic relationship. Her success, both professionally and personally, was a silent rebuke to Frank's downward spiral. Frank's response to her transformation was predictable and petty. He grew increasingly paranoid, convinced that Susan's new lease on life included an affair. His accusations were relentless, a daily barrage of mistrust and jealousy. Ironically, it was Frank who had been unfaithful throughout their marriage, squandering money on drugs and other women. His hypocrisy knew no bounds, and his verbal abuse became a constant storm cloud over their home. Susan's decision to halt the divorce was pragmatic. She wasn't hoping for a miracle turnaround in Frank's behavior or a rekindling of their lost love. She was playing a long game, calculating that staying married would secure her financial future. Once Frank's unhealthy lifestyle caught up, it was a cold, calculated move, driven by necessity and survival rather than sentiment. In another case that comes to mind, there was George, a man in his late 70s, who found out that his estranged wife, Margaret, was terminally ill. George was a shrewd, calculating man who saw an opportunity in his wife's grim diagnosis. He initiated a series of legal maneuvers to delay their divorce proceedings, employing every trick in the book. His goal was simple: outlast Margaret. If she died before the divorce was finalized, he would retain all their shared assets. It was a grim race against time, with George banking on her demise to secure his financial future. Then there was the story of Tom and Lisa, a couple who had seemingly navigated their divorce amicably. They had agreed on everything, from the division of their assets to the custody arrangements for their young son. The dissolution papers were signed, and it looked like they were on the path to an amicable split. But then, out of the blue, Tom's demeanor changed. He became vindictive, determined to overturn their agreement and take everything from Lisa, including full custody of their child. His change of heart was triggered by a minor disagreement. Lisa had refused to alter their custody schedule on short notice. It was a petty slight, but in Tom's mind, it was enough to justify his sudden quest for vengeance.